Hello, I'm Chelsey Nichols, and I am a agent account rep for Tim Lecher Insurance Agency. I have been with Tim for over 5 years. I have been a team member with State Farm for 12, and I have worked for 3 other agents prior to working with Tim. And one of the hardest parts when I first started my job was just understanding the process of how to talk to somebody about insurance and how to educate them on what we do here. I guess I didn't know that I had a purpose. My purpose was to sell insurance, was to help people make a payment or change autos or whatever. My purpose wasn't anything beyond that at that time, because our agencies were all about maybe retaining current customers or turning in claims or whatever, answering questions, but it was never about growth. It was never a standard of growth. And so it was never a responsibility of mine for that growth. So I just kind of went through the motions every day. What changed after I started implementing the 6-step method process with Tim was everything. Everything changed. I was able to find a purpose in each conversation, go through all the fact finding, making sure that we go through the steps of what they have, what they need, and why. And then building a comprehensive package for these people and making sure that their needs are met, because there is no such thing as apples to apples in my life. I see it as grapes to watermelons. There's so many different needs that some people may have, whether you are in your 20s with young children and a mortgage or in your 60s ready to retire. You have a different need and different assets that need covered. And so finding those things through that 6-step method and uncovering needs that people didn't know, and also being able to educate them and see people say, wow, nobody's ever said that to me before. I never thought of it that way. How awesome it is to have that power to give the knowledge to people, help them understand what they need to do. One specific coaching method that helped me level up was truly just following those processes that Tim has created, realizing that we have a responsibility to these people to help them go to the next level and to take them up. And if we don't do it, nobody's going to do it. So we're very responsible for that. Absolutely being able to know a rising tide lifts all ships, and I need to be that fish of that tide. Personal sales win of mine. So in the agencies I've been in before, they have had a goal of 40 for the year to hit the milestone for State Farm. And I never thought that was attainable, because I think I had maybe sold 10, 15 top in a year life insurance. And with Tim in my first year, I sold 110 life. And I believe we hit that 40 goal in the first 4 months. So that was a huge, huge victory for me, and something that I thought, wow, I couldn't do that. And now that's just a stepping stone to where I want to be and where I'm going to be, because I know I can do more. So each time, you have your victory and you celebrate that, but then it's in the past and you move forward. So that's one of the huge things that Tim has taught me, and how I feel in my role now is to continue to grow and to continue to succeed and push those goals. Celebrate them then, but then that's the minimum that you can do. Now you got to go further than that. I'm hitting these goals I never thought were possible, but now, hitting 10 life in a month seemed absolutely crazy. Now we're doing 15 in a month, 20 as a team, but hitting those goals. Now that's a minimum again. So we're continuing to hit goals that I never thought were possible, and then continuing to set new goals. When I have sales conversations now with people, it's more about a value conversation. It's not really about trying to sell them anything. It's about closing them and helping them realize what they need. And in the end, if we find an exposure, we're filling that and making sure that that's taken care of. One of the first times I had a full conversation with a customer under Tim's agency, we found an exposure of $500,000. So we went ahead and raised her liability limits. 2 months later, her daughter had an accident with a girl. They hit a deer. Her passenger was very hurt, and they got in a lawsuit. And thankfully, we had raised those liability limits, so it protected them from that. Had we not done that, they would have been in a lot of trouble. So that was a huge, huge story for me to make sure and, not only have the conversation, find the exposure, but actually see it play out in real life, how important it was for me to have had that conversation with her. So how I feel like my life has been impacted by this is I feel that I have a new purpose. My whole goal in life has always been to change the world one person at a time, even if it's just their world that changes. Well, that's something that I have the ability to do now each and every day. And I've been able to see my future with my young children and going on trips and being able to afford nicer things that we can make memories together that I may have not been able to do before, because you have a cap there. But there is no cap. The cap is me. And I realize that by using Tim's coaching and his guidance and just utilizing his knowledge, I've been able to change my full thinking, my whole life, has changed due to this. Not just monetarily. I mean, that's important, but more so I like growing. Growing is great. Changing is great. I always want to be continuing to learn. I would say to somebody starting the new method is trust it. Trust the system. And there have been so many times that I'm like, why am I failing? Why are we not being able to do this? Well, it's because I was not following the system, not listening to what Tim has taught and the successes that we've had, and falling back into my old ways. Technobabble is the big word that he likes to use when I start to fall backwards. And that helps me to see that I need to be more clear on what I'm saying and just get to the point of what they need. Ask more questions. Quit talking so much. And the one thing that has made the biggest difference is listening, asking the questions. What's in it for them? People care about other people, but truly it's not about my kids. It's not about my family. It's not about my house or my liability. It's about them. It's about what they need. What do they want? What's important to them? And those are some things that I have truly, truly been able to grow with. And it helps me see life differently in all different ways, in all ways. Even when it's negotiating with my own child, I have to ask certain questions so that then they see the real reason behind things as well. So asking questions has been a huge thing that I've been able to make a difference in here. Finding a belief system, hitting targets. I've been able to just have my goals be met and exceeding my goals. And every day is a new day to be able to earn that trust from customers and therefore then hitting my goals. So I've really enjoyed working with Tim. It's been probably the best experience of my life. It's helped me to grow in many ways. And I would encourage anybody who has an opportunity to get to know him and to follow some of his processes to take advantage of that, because it truly can change your life and then in turn change lives of other people. So thanks for your time.